The very first thing that I tell people that are freshly diagnosed with cancer is to find a therapist.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the second thing is that it doesn't mean that it's a death sentence. Because that's what people think. Like, that's how we're bred, right?
Yeah.
We just think cancer equals death.
I met Lonnie through TikTok, where he's actively telling his story, sharing advice, and advocating for people living with cancer. As soon as I met him, I wanted to be his friend. He's open and honest, in touch with how he feels about his life and his illness, and he's just a cool guy. I hope you enjoy hearing Lonnie's story as much as I did. This is Dying to Tell You. Good to see you again. How are you feeling? You good?
I feel good. I have, I'm just, a housewife these days, or house husband, I should say. But I'm keeping busy with stuff like this.
Yeah.
So that's great. I feel good about what I'm doing, where I'm at, all this stuff.
Yeah, good. Did we met on TikTok? Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can start by just telling a little about yourself, and then we can kind of start with what was happening that made you think that something might be wrong.
Whew, yeah. So my name's Lonnie. I live in Indianapolis. I've been here for 10 years. I grew up in northern Michigan, northern lower Michigan. I couldn't wait to get out of that state. So when opportunity presented itself through a promotion for work, I took it, and they moved me down here, and I actually love it here. This is an amazing city. It's one of the smarter moves that I've made coming down here. I've been with my husband in a couple of months, it'll be 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And we just live in an apartment. Thankfully, we don't own a home because I can't do much these days.
Right.
But yeah, he is a manager of a floral shop, and he loves it. So I love that for him.
Yeah.
And I, back in 2017, in the spring of 2017, I was having some issues that I didn't not recognize as symptoms of cancer. So I was having some urinary tract issues, flow issues, those kinds of things. And I kept going to my general practitioner, and he said, "Oh, you have a UTI." Okay, well, give me some antibiotics. So he did, and the symptoms got better, but they never really went away. And back and forth throughout that summer, I went probably on 3 or 4 different courses of antibiotics.
Really?
Because he kept saying, well, this is a stubborn UTI. And I'm like, okay, well, all right. So he kept giving me different antibiotics. And then finally at the end, he's like, well, this is prostatitis, which is an infection of the prostate or an inflamed prostate. And I'm like, okay, please do something.
Right. Just fix it.
Yeah. Just come on, bro. So he gave me the last round of antibiotics. And again, same thing. It was always the same cycle. The symptoms would get better, but they never really went away. But then I was working downtown here in Indianapolis one day, back when I had a career. And I was on my way home, and I was in so much pain, just in my hips and my femurs. I was in so much pain. It was excruciating. I was tearing up on my way home.
And was that part of the symptoms that you'd been experiencing, but they just got worse, or was that something completely new?
Those were some of the symptoms that I had been experiencing. I'd been feeling like I had some just general body pain. But I chalked it up to I worked from home. I'm little overweight. I like eat horribly and I drink too much. I smoke too much, like all the things,
Right. And
right?
I'm getting older,
And
right?
yeah, and I'm
Yeah. Right.
47, like, and I'm a couch potato and I never really exercise all the things. But it wasn't intense. But that day was insanely intense. And so I pulled off. I Googled while I was driving, which is really not what you're supposed to do, but I Googled while I was driving and found an urgent care and I pulled into it. And I stood at the counter. Nobody came for 10 minutes. I'm like, oh my God. So I left and then immediately got back in my Jeep and I called my GP and I said, hey, I have to see you like now. Like, I don't know what's
Yeah.
happening. I am so much pain. I am like just in serious pain. And he's, gave me to his nurse. He said, well, let me see. Like, and they got me in actually that afternoon. And so I drove to his office and he's like, well, we're going to do, a physical exam on your prostate, which isn't the best thing in the world. But long story short, he got up there and felt a lot of irregularities, and then sent me to for a biopsy the next day. And I had a biopsy the next day and got the results the day after that. So
And it
it
was?
came quick. Yeah, it was stage 4 metastatic prostate cancer.
And how do they know it was metastatic at that point?
At that point, when my PSA was a 685, my presenting PSA, normal is 4 and below. Uh, the other thing that made it metastatic was I had a Gleason score of 9.
Okay.
They weren't exactly sure that it was metastatic that day. They did schedule me for a bone scan a couple of days later, which confirmed it.
Okay.
But normally, from what I understand, if you are presenting a PSA that high, which is a signal of a very aggressive form of it, if you're presenting that high and you do have a Gleason score of 9, 99 times out of 100, you're metastatic.
Okay.
And they confirmed it a couple of days later. Yeah.
You said bone scan, and so it had spread to the bones?
Oh, yes. I had it bone scan a couple of days later. It had spread to my spine, my rib cage, all throughout my hips, down into my femur, which is where the pain was coming from,
right.
All over my spine, up into my cranium a little bit, my clavicles. It just like prostate cancer spreads in a really particular pattern. Apparently, it like does like a T pattern.
Oh, okay.
So like it'll go up your spine and like come off your like up here.
Mm-hmm.
It might get into your rib cage. And then of course it was all throughout my lymphatic system. They discovered that as well. So it wasn't a great day.
No, yeah. I mean, when you got the initial biopsy results, were you at home or did you go to the clinic? What?
No, I went to the clinic and I met with the urologist, and he and my husband met me there. He was at work and he met me there, and the urologist said, like, listen, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but you have stage 4 cancer, undoubtedly metastatic, and it's going to be terminal for you. We can't cure that.
He said it just like that.
Just like that. He said that he had oncology on their way up to talk to me.
Wow. Okay.
Because it's all in the same
Sure.
conglomerate building.
I mean, that's great, though.
It was amazing. Yeah. And so the oncologist came up. I met with him briefly. He wanted to bring me into his office the next day to talk about an action plan.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really it, which in retrospect was a lot.
Yeah. I mean, to go from believing, I assume you still believed you had UTIs.
Yeah,
to
sure.
to metastatic terminal prostate cancer
Yeah.
in a matter of 24 hours? I mean, less. How did that feel? What was that like? What went through your head when you got that?
Honestly, I was in shock. We left the office of, well, at that time, it was just the urologist's office. We left the office. Uh, my husband asked me if, I wanted him to come home or what I wanted him to do. And I'm like, you just go back to, because I was in shock. I didn't even know what I was saying.
Sure.
I'm like, just go back to where I'm fine. It's fine. Um, I don't remember driving home that day. I don't remember the next 2 days after that. I don't have any recollection of those.
Huh.
It was an insanely horrible experience. Just hearing that and then being in shock for 2 days.
Right. Right.
It was bad.
Yeah, I don't know what a person's supposed to do when you get news like that. But I'm always interested in what you do when you get news like that.
Yeah, I remember. I kind of just remember one thing about that day. Um, really heartbreaking for me.
Yeah.
I've always, with my husband, I've always been like the fixer, the person, the one who handles everything. Like, uh, we met when he was 18, and like I just kind of like, okay, I'm doing, like, I schedule everything. Like I'm the one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember that night of the diagnosis day. Um, I was sitting outside on our balcony, and probably have a bottle of wine in my hand. Um, and he just came out, sighed, didn't even say a word, just tears flowing down his face. Um, and just in his eyes, pleading with me to do something, make it better,
Right.
fix it, all of that I've always done for decades now. I have no answer for that. I had no answer for that.
Yeah. What a helpless feeling.
It's so helpless. It's so heartbreaking. Um, my gosh, that was a horrible, horrible couple of days. That then I went into crazy mode after that.
Far from all the things I left behind, I hear the call of restless skies, the dreams I couldn't chase, the moments I can face. The streets unfold into the night, interwoven dreams escape my sight. The winds hum through the pines, a name that still entwines. The city is asleep, moonlight caught so deep.
When I met with the oncologist, I asked him point blank, like, what happens? What happens if I just turn around and go home and do nothing? What am I looking at? He said a few months to a year. Okay. So I went into crazy mode. I'm like, oh my God, like I need to figure out a way to pay off my car, and I need to, figure out a way to do all of this stuff. Like, Jesus, I need to go to Costco and buy toilet paper and stock up the apartment. Like all that. I'm not even kidding.
I
Like I went
believe
into
you.
crazy mode.
Yeah.
When you get that, like for me at least, it sent my brain into places that was not great and just was irrational. And but those are some of the things that I was like that was swirling around in my head.
Sure.
And I finally like came down to reality after, a day or so. I'm like, okay, like let's look at this, hopefully logically. And I started researching at that point. Like, okay, what do I want to do? Like, I knew my oncologist was like wanting me to do chemo like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I had asked him if he could pump his brakes for a minute,
Yeah. Yeah.
and to give me a minute to do some reading and listening and chatting with my friends and family, and trying to get perspectives, and let me make a decision. So I asked him for a couple of weeks. He's like, "Yeah, take a couple of weeks."
Good for you.
He's amazing, by the
Well,
way.
good for you, good for him, and good for you. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, so many people who hear that, and I guess, crazy mode. People panic. You
yeah,
hear cancer, especially incurable cancer, and it's just like, I got to get treatment right now. I'm going to be the one to beat this. I'm going to prove everybody wrong. Like all of the things,
yeah,
and maybe in your case, I got to stock up on toilet paper. I got to take care of I got to take care of all the stuff.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Good for you for pumping the brakes. I say that to people a lot when I meet them right after diagnosis. I say, I understand the feeling and the need to do something, and if you feel like this is a runaway train, which it often feels like, pump the brakes. You don't have
Yeah,
to do anything right now.
yeah. And not everybody has the wherewithal to do that.
No.
I've always considered myself a pretty mentally sound person up until that point, obviously. Woo!
Up into the toilet paper panic.
Yes. It was like pre-COVID toilet paper run. But that's where I was at. Like, that's where
Mm-hmm.
my mental state was at. And then I started researching and reading and listening and watching, videos and reading case studies and reading clinical trial reports and all of it. I did
Mm-hmm.
all of it. I hundreds of hours over the next few weeks. It was insane. I was like a madman because I wanted to know. It was very important for me to know everything I could learn about it
Sure.
that my oncologist couldn't or didn't have time to tell me.
Hmm.
Wow, there's just so much to this story. It's insane. So immediately when I started dealing with my oncologist, I asked him to pump the brakes. We sat down. Uh, I spoke to my family and friends, and I did some research on it. And I said, to him, I'm like, okay, now I want to sit down with you, and I want you to plead your case with me. Like, tell
Yeah.
me what this is going to do for me. And we sat down for quite a while, and we went over like what it does and what it will do for me and what it does for some people. And and he, looking at my prostate cancer being diagnosed as a very aggressive form, he said, honestly, chemo would probably give you 4, 5, 6 months on the back end. That's it. That's
Wow.
it.
Wow.
And I immediately, and during that conversation, I told him, I'm like, well, here's my goal. Like, I am going to be more concerned about quality than quantity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always been my goal. And he understood. He's the most amazing doctor I've ever had, thankfully.
Yeah.
But he understood. And, he's like, well, that's all chemo will do for you. I said, I don't want it then. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to be that guy that is spending who knows how long it is. Like, I'm almost 8 years in now, but at that time we didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
I could have been gone in a year,
Right.
and I was very comfortable saying I did not want to spend my time sick, curled up into a corner, bawling, puking, whatever, and not living.
Mm-hmm.
That's not quality. That's not living to me. That's surviving. And I didn't want to survive. I wanted to live. I knew that I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to live.
Well, I'm not great at math, Lonnie, but uh, 8 years in, it seems like you outlived your year-long prognosis there.
Yeah. Turns out you're great at math.
So what's so what happened?
So I immediately went on the very base treatment that all prostate cancer patients get, which is ADT, androgen deprivation therapy, which is basically um, medical castration. It cuts off all of your testosterone.
Okay.
I went on that. That worked for 6 months, brought my PSA down a little bit. After 6 months, it stopped working.
Okay.
A lot of people get a couple of years out of that before they need to go on to a second treatment line. I did not, probably due to the aggressiveness of it. It stopped working, so we were kind of panicking, trying to figure out like what's next. What do we need to do? And he brought up chemotherapy again. I said, "Go sit in your corner." And then he approached me with a clinical trial that he had just received, actually. And it was based on genomic responses. So I had to go get the genomic testing. And I was, as it turns out, I did have two gene mutations. The first one is called the BRCA2, which is very prevalent in breast cancer also.
Yeah.
The other one is called a CHEK2. Individually, each one gives me an additional 40% increased risk for prostate cancer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised that we're sitting here talking today.
Right.
With that information, I was able to go into a clinical trial that combined a PARP inhibitor with steroids, ADT, and a different drug, which I can't remember at the moment. That clinical trial really saved my life. It was a phase 3 or 4, with the final phase, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on that clinical trial for 3.5 years.
Oh my goodness.
Before it stopped working. We knew that it wouldn't, obviously cure anything. The best hope that we had for the clinical trial was that it was going to slow things down, slow the growth, slow the progression, long enough for something else to come out. And it did for 3.5 years, slowed the progression. My PSA came down to under 4, which is a normal range. Still had the cancer, but it just wasn't very active. As in most clinical trials, they have parameters where if your PSA went up, I don't know, like 3 times in a row, like they were going to boot you off the trial because they deemed it not working anymore or something. I don't know. I was the last man standing on that particular trial for the Midwest.
Wow.
So everybody else had dropped off due to side effects.
Oh.
So
yeah, well, I was going to ask, how was life during that time?
It wasn't bad. I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but because of I'm focused on quality mentality. I researched everything. I researched all of these drugs before I said yes to this clinical trial. And by the way, I was terrified to go on a clinical trial. Terrified. This was 2018. Clinical trials weren't as prevalent at that point. So I was terrified, but I researched everything, and the side effects individually were not horrible. They're tolerable. Every once in a while, they would like gang up and like team up and give me a lot of rough days. But I knew what the end goal was, and I was kind of a stubborn person. And so I just powered through it. Like I didn't have any other choice. Like I knew what I was getting into. I knew I wasn't going to quit it. I knew the trend was that it was working. It was doing exactly what we wanted it to do. Honestly, it was I would say it was extremely tolerable for me
Mm-hmm.
throughout the whole 3 years.
You're so focused on quality, which I really appreciate, and living, um, not longevity, but living your life how you want to live it. Um, was was that time period, were you living your life? Were you doing the things you want to do for the most part?
I think at the end of that time period, I was, not at the beginning for sure, because in the beginning of that time period, I still was having a lot of, I wasn't emotionally well. I wasn't mentally, I was, it's one of those things where with cancer, especially when you're, facing your own mortality over it and you get the word terminal thrown at you and uncurable and,
Yeah.
all this stuff. And there's so much fear involved. It takes over your brain. And I didn't really have, in the first, I would say, couple of years, I didn't really have anybody to talk to about what I was going through emotionally
Mm-hmm.
and mentally. And, my husband was, he had his own feelings he had to deal with on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he wasn't able to talk to me about what I was going through. And I got to be in a really dark place.
Yeah.
And just kind of like a light switch, I woke up one morning and I'm like, I can't do this. I have to do something about this because it was, mentally for me, it was just dragging me down. And I'm always going to stand 10 toes down that at least half of a cancer treatment should be mental health.
Mm.
At least half. So I woke up that morning and I called, I got on a website and I found a therapist that she deals with cancer patients. You can go on, I don't know, I don't remember what it is, like psychology.com or something, and go through all of the therapists and like, oh, this is what they specialize in, or so that's what I was looking for, and I found it. She's I told you that she is listening to you now. Hi, Joe.
Oh yeah, that's
good.
right. Yeah,
They'll probably hear
you
that.
mentioned that. Oh yeah. Hi. Thanks for doing what you do.
Yeah. But I have to tell you, that was the best decision I ever made in my life. Is going to see a therapist, and what I learned almost immediately from her was that all of the emotions that I was feeling that were seemingly here because of cancer, fear and anger and sadness and all of them at once, almost all of them always at once.
Yeah.
It's all grief. They're all derivatives of grief.
Yeah.
And, I quickly learned that, not only am I, grieving that I have it, but I'm also grieving things that won't happen in the future.
That's right.
Right? I'm not going to be sitting with my husband at 75 years old.
That's right.
On the front porch of some hideaway in the woods.
Right.
I'm not going to be doing that. I'm not going to be continuing to climb up the ladder, the corporate ladder for my career. That's gone. That's done. So there's so many things that you grieve that you don't even know that you're grieving. Like, it's so bizarre.
Yeah.
But she pulled all of that out of me, and we kind of compacted that and said, okay, this is grief. Okay, I get it now, because I was angry and I was sad and I was just afraid and all the things. There's so many things. And once we named it, we can start coping with it.
guess I thought you'd live forever. I always thought we'd be together. A lifetime of moments boiled down to a phrase. In an off chance I notice you show your age. Just a bird in a cage, too weak to sing again.
We all have this idea about the way that our life is going to be, and we all have this feeling within us that somehow we're owed 75 or 80 years, and that we are going to live a long life, and that we're going to sit on the porch with our spouse and kind of watch the kids in the yard or whatever it is, have a long retirement. And when something comes into the story that is a plot twist that we didn't see coming, then we have to, there is a period where I think, like you're mentioning, there's this anticipatory grief and sadness for the loss of the thing that we didn't even have yet, the thing that we
Right.
thought we were going to get. And the task then becomes kind of incorporating that plot twist into the story and seeing the rest of the life unfold, however it's going to unfold. But yeah, it's so hard to do that if you don't have words to put to what's happening.
And you don't have words.
Not unless somebody's there with you. Right.
Right. Unless, somebody's trained to say, okay, well, this is this is that.
Yep.
We can separate these, blah, 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 all the stuff. But you don't have words. And the biggest thing about, the fear part of it is like, cancer is just unknown. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to take over. You don't know when it's going to get aggressive. You don't know how the treatments are going to affect you. You don't know if they're going to work. Maybe they won't work. So there's so much unknown.
Yeah.
And I still struggle with that today because of the unknown.
Yeah.
Like and still this is 8 years almost. It'll be 8 years in September. Like, I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop. Right? Because it might, and it will. Yeah. I know that it will.
It will.
Just eventually. Like, when though?
Yep.
Gosh, it's horrible. It's not great.
Cancer is not great.
I've come a long way on that.
You've heard it here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, it does seem like you've come a long way because, when I have met you, you don't seem fearful or depressed. I'm sure there are moments when you're sad, and I'm sure there are moments when you have some fear, but it doesn't seem like those things are running your life or directing everything. I know that, like, you're not. It doesn't seem like you're making every day about your fear or about your sadness.
I'm not. And it, again, it took me a minute to get here, but you can't. I can't. I cannot do that. And I think a lot of it had to do with, especially after I, went on disability, and like I kind of feel like maybe I lost a sense of purpose a couple of years ago. And maybe I just needed to be needed, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, I wasn't very active in like doing any advocacy work back then. But I really have found my stride with that now. And I work with a lot of people, and it really brings joy to my life. It really brings purposeful meaning to my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always told people, especially in the last couple of years, that, I'm very intentional about how I spend my time. I'm intentional about how I spend my time. I'm intentional about who I spend it with,
That's right.
my circle, um, because time is not my friend. And I want to get as much in as I can because I don't feel like I'm done. I'm not done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I started doing advocacy work, and it's been the most rewarding thing
Mm.
I've almost ever done in my life. And I would have never done that had I not been stricken with a disease that makes me face my own mortality for 8 damn years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, I would have never done that.
Of course not. Why
No.
would you?
Why would you? Yeah. No.
We'll get back to your advocacy work. I really appreciate calling out the need to feel some meaning, some purpose. I
Yeah.
think the things that people really need in their life are to love and be loved,
Yeah.
and also to feel useful, like we're doing something for the community or ourselves or our family, something.
Yeah.
And I think that there are a lot of people who live with illness who lose that because of the illness. And that's a big part of why people have such a hard time going from being the one who is taking care of everything, like yourself, like many of our guests on here, to being the one that's needing care.
Yeah.
Because it's, I want to be doing for other people, I want to be useful in my life. So yeah, great call out.
That's a really difficult thing to overcome
Yeah.
when you are the guy, right?
Yep.
And you're reduced to being, reliant on someone else who's now the guy.
Yeah.
That's a very difficult thing too. And I've talked to my therapist about this 1,000 times at least. At least.
Sure.
Like I bring it up and she's like, oh my God, here we go again.
Come on, Lonnie.
Right. But it's really difficult to accept that and move on from that because you still feel you still need to be needed in certain ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's so many complexities to that.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Well, we're 8 years down the road, and you've taken us 4. So your trial stopped working, and then what?
So my trial stopped working. They kicked me off the trial
because your PSA raised.
Yep, it raised. It wasn't a lot. It was just
but consistently over a little bit of time.
Insignificant amounts, but it was consistent. Yes. So I don't even know how this happened, and I really don't ever want to ask questions. But my oncologist somehow got me the same drugs that I was on the trial because he came to me. He's like, "Listen, I know you're kicked off the trial, but I think we can get a little bit more time out of this cocktail."
Right, because it had been working. Right.
Yeah, it had been working for years, and the increases weren't significant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, let's do it. Like, that's fine. Because by this time I was kind of running out of options.
Yeah. What is the other option, right?
Right. I know what the other. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And so I don't know how he got his hands on getting approved to get me those drugs. Like, again, I feel like they have special powers. Like, I didn't want to ask any questions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I got back on them immediately. And after, I don't know, it was like 3 or 4 months after I was kicked off the trial, the FDA ended up approving that treatment for prostate cancer.
Okay.
Which, by the way, side note, is just an amazing feeling to know that you were a part of something that is going to help thousands of people in the future.
Yeah, and not an insignificant part either. I mean, it was very successful for you.
Yes, very successful. What an amazing sense of pride I have for that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I can't even describe it.
Hmm.
So the FDA approved it, and I've been on it ever since.
Okay.
I'm still on it.
You're still on it. Okay.
I'm still on it. I took maybe a year, 18 months ago, I took a treatment vacation, which means I'm like, I went to my oncologist and I'm like, and I'd asked him about this for years. And he's just like, look at me like I'm crazy. He's like, no, we're not doing that. But I went to him, I don't know, it was 12, 18 months ago or something. And I said, listen, I'm tired. I'm tired. To my soul is tired, like from fighting, from taking medication every day to fighting insurance. Kind of like I'm tired. So I'm, going to take a treatment vacation. And he looked at me and like, I don't know if ethically he could say like, yeah, I think you should do that or what. But, he looked at me and he's like, in your position, you should do what you want to do. Okay. So I took a treatment vacation and I stayed off of treatment for, I think it was like 6 months. Initially, it was only going to be free, but nothing was happening because we were right on top with labs and scans and all the things. And so it ended up being 6 months before, before the screen lit up in a scan. And I had to go back on them. But I mean, we were staying right on top of it for when it, for when something popped off, we would be right on top of it. And we knew it would. But it was a great 6 months. It was an amazing 6 months.
Did you feel better during that time?
But a lot of my side effects went away.
Okay.
There's certain medications that I take that are side effects that I don't like. I don't like taking steroids every day. I've taken steroids every day for 8 years almost.
Yeah.
They're not great. I don't like the way they make me feel. I don't like what they do to my temperament. I don't like, any of that stuff. So, but yeah, my side effects, I don't know that they went away. I don't know if they really had time to go away, but they diminished significantly, which was really my goal. I wanted to wake up and feel like, oh my gosh, a halfway normal person, as much as I could anyway.
Sure.
But yeah, it was a great 6 months. Until it wasn't.
So you're 8 years out from diagnosis, and you have the benefit of hindsight now. And I guess I'm wondering, do you feel good about what you've done? And do you feel good about your quality versus quantity balance?
I feel really good about what I've done.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have chosen another path medically that would make me feel this good about what I've done. I can't think of any. I think that I made the best decision about accepting the treatments that were geared towards quality of life versus quantity. And if I had to do it all over again, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Same thing.
Even though every step of the way was fear. When I went into the clinical trial, terrified. I was bawling in my oncologist's office, terrified.
Of course.
Because I didn't want to grow a third eye. Like, who wants to grow a third eye?
Sure.
But there was so much fear and there was so much terror but I got through it. And I feel really good about getting through it and where I'm at today. Like I feel really good about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't, I don't think I would change anything.
Yeah. Where are you with the fear now?
I still have fearful days.
Can you tell me about them?
So fearful days are when, gosh, when I wake up and, because cancer never lets you forget it's there.
Yeah.
It never lets you forget it's there. Between, going to bed in pain and waking up in pain and being in pain all day and all night long, or, having to take medications, or getting up in the morning and looking at, yourself in the mirror and, lacking self confidence and self esteem because
Mm.
of what cancer has done to your body. Um, there's so many ways that cancer never lets you forget it's there. It doesn't. It's cruel and vindictive that way. Uh, and what I've learned over the years is that I have to really kind of reset my mind every day, every morning, like reset my mind, and it doesn't always work. Uh,
How do you do that?
that's a great question. Um,
That's why I'm the host, Lonnie.
I guess I guess the simplest explanation that I have for it that works for me is that I have to kind of like close my mind off to all of the outside thoughts of like the cancer, right? Because again, cancer's coming at me every second of every day, and in order to like reset my mind and be like, okay, I've got this. Like I have to literally look back on what I've done, and it's always retrospect for me. Like, okay, well, I've felt this way 1,000 times,
Hmm.
but I've gotten through all of my bad days so far. And like, so let's reel it in, give yourself a minute, give yourself a little bit of grace, which is really, again, a really difficult thing to do for people. It was for me at one point. And you have to like just zone in on this is how far I've come. These are the decisions that I've made that have like led me to this place that I'm in. This very successful ish place. Right.
Very successful.
Yeah, because I still have cancer, but like I'm out here doing it.
Yeah.
Like I'm, and maybe it's luck, maybe it's whatever you believe in the universe that's, you know, pulling you in the right direction. Nevertheless, this is where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
And, if I look back on, in, retrospect and be like, oh my gosh, like 8 years ago or even 7 years ago, I was terrified. I had no direction. I was going into a clinical trial, scared out of my mind, didn't have anybody to talk to, all these things. And when I look back at all of these things and be like, oh my gosh, I'm in such a great place right now. We're in a good place. And so that's kind of what I do. I just like kind of like turn back the clock and think about like where I was 7 or 8 years ago. And it
Yeah.
was terrifying. It was horrifying. But here we are. And we made some good decisions. I still see the therapist once a week. I'll never stop seeing her.
Yeah.
Um,
I wouldn't if I were you.
no,
It sounds
no,
amazing.
no, she's amazing. Um, that's kind of how I reset every day because there's always indicators every morning when I wake up
Yeah.
that that make me have to reset every morning.
Right.
Because if
Like,
I don't, it's not good. It's not a good day. And there
yeah.
are days that I have meltdowns. There are days that I can't get it under control. They're few and far between, but they happen. And yeah, I have my meltdowns with the best of them. But by and large, most of the days I have to reset every morning. Yeah.
Across the field I stare. The Milky Way has gone to find you. me sleep, it's whispering away. The longer I wait, the longer I wait. Across the field I stare, the Milky Way has gone to find you. The wind won't let me sleep, it's whispering away. The longer I wait, the longer
You've gotten through all the bad days so far. That's something that I think about too when I'm having a difficult time, and whatever it might be, a difficult day at work or whatever. I know that I've gotten through every difficult day at work to this point, and at the end of this day, I will have gotten through this day too, and it will be fine. I think it's a really useful technique, I guess, is what I would call it. When you're talking about fear, waking up, remembering, oh yeah, Lonnie, you have cancer. When you have that come to you, what is the fear? What are you afraid of?
Oh gosh. I mean, you're just afraid of everything. Literally everything. Like, people ask me all the time now, uh, like, are you afraid to die? And I always tell people, like, no, I'm not afraid to die. I'm afraid of the process of dying.
Yeah, dying.
Yes, I'm afraid of the dying process.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid of what that will look like for the people that I love. I'm afraid of just what that will look like for me personally. Like, it's going to be painful. It's going to be like, am I going to be drawn, out for 6 months bedridden prior to like all those things? All those
Mm-hmm.
things are fears, albeit probably out of my control, but they're still fears. I fear, the people that I love. What are they going to do after I'm gone? Right? How are they going to cope? How are they going to handle things? My husband financially, how is he going to handle things financially? How is he
Mm-hmm.
going to cope? How is he going to all the things?
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of fear, and I don't know that the fear will ever go away. But for me, the fear keeps me conversing. And if I'm afraid of something, I'm going to talk about it, whether I
Yeah.
talk about it to my husband or people that are close to me in my personal circle. If I didn't have those fears, I wouldn't be talking about it. We wouldn't be having a conversation about it. And I think the conversations are the most important things about it. And honestly, when I think back to when I was first diagnosed, and I've talked to again to my therapist about this 1,000 times, I wish I had somebody I could turn to back then. Like, social media is amazing right now, way more amazing than it was in 2017.
Mm.
But if I had somebody, or even a platform that I could, doom scroll through, find a cancer community on, and have somebody talking about like what they're going through in their personal experience. Oh my God, that would have been a game changer,
Mm.
because you feel alone.
Yeah.
When you're diagnosed with cancer, you feel immediately alone. And the fear is that nobody understands what you're going through. Nobody tries to understand it. People don't know what they don't know. But you feel so alone. And, you know, my fear is that people that I know and love won't have the opportunity to connect with somebody eventually if
Hmm.
they get diagnosed with cancer. You know, they can think back of, on me. I'll be long gone by then, but they can think back about me, right? And they'll be like, oh my gosh, he was just a chatty Cathy, my God. And he talks about his cancer all the time. And, let me pull up some of his videos and let me go through his social media and just see what he had to say about it. I
Hmm.
have a nephew that has been diagnosed with cancer. Same thing. He reaches out to me all the time.
Yeah.
So do I have, yeah, I have lots of fears. I have fears all over the place that are just, they won't ever go away.
Yeah.
But it's about how you cope with them. For me, it is anyway.
You're not brave if you're not afraid. If you're
Right,
afraid and then you do it, then you're brave. Like
right.
it takes courage to do the things that are difficult. So, and I do think that, I mean, obviously you've shown great courage in going through all of this. You showed a lot of courage and, a lot of principle in your ability to, first of all, to tell the oncologist to pump the brakes a little bit and to just say, no, I'm not doing the chemotherapy.
Right.
Figure something else out or I'll go home,
Yeah.
which is kind of what I got from you. And talking about fears often takes away the power from the fear. And I think
It really does.
that's a really good point for people who might be diagnosed later on, who might be diagnosed right now, or who don't have any diagnosis at all but still have fear. I mean, we all have fears, and
Yeah.
yeah, really, really great. You mentioned that people don't know what they don't know, and I know that on TikTok and I don't know other platforms. Are you mainly on TikTok?
My cancer advocacy is on TikTok primarily. I bleed it over into Instagram once in a
Okay.
while. Yeah.
You do some of this, but would you tell me just maybe a few things that come to mind that people don't know that they should know?
Yeah. So like when I talk about cancer, like on TikTok, for example, I'm talking about things that people don't normally like to talk about, such as I talk about, like the anger that comes with it and what that does to us.
Mm,
Um, I talk about how it changes um, our relationships. It changes all of our relations, every single one, from your spouse/partner to friendships to family members. Every relationship will change. I talk about um, just a lot of the mental health side of dealing with cancer, because I think it's so undervalued.
absolutely.
And there's fear and there's feeling alone and lots of things. And so I talk about all of that stuff, and the amount of people that reach out to me or DM me or like oh my God, I needed to hear this. I thank you. Or the amount of people that will reach out to me and say, wow, I just, I saw your video and like, my brother was just diagnosed with this and he's terrified. We're going to see an oncologist on Tuesday. Like, what can I tell him in the meantime?
What would you say to that? Do you have an answer for that?
I do have an answer, but I do.
Would you tell me?
The very first thing that I tell people that are freshly diagnosed with cancer is to find a therapist
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the second thing is that it doesn't mean that it's a death sentence. Because that's what people think. Like that's how we're bred, right?
Yeah.
We just think cancer equals death, which in some cases it does, and that's sad and heartbreaking. But not in all cases,
Hmm.
and it doesn't mean that it's that right away. There are things that you can do to live
Right.
fruitfully until that point.
And that's the point of this podcast is that there's still living to do.
Yeah,
Terminal illness is not the end.
No,
The end is the end. And what you
right.
do with the time between your diagnosis and the end is still very important.
Yeah, very important. I tell people it's my race against time,
Hmm.
right? Because I'm just, I'm doing a combination of surviving and living until other treatments come out that'll provide me more time. So it's always my race against time. Immediately I tell people like time is so valuable. Their graveyards are full of people who thought they had more time. They're full of people who thought they had more time.
Yeah.
And use your time. Spend it while being very intentional about how you're using your time
Yeah. Yeah.
and who you're using it with.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be surprised the amount of people. And I've talked to my therapist about this 1,000 times. I cannot even imagine being diagnosed, well, with stage 4 terminal, incurable, whatever you're calling it, coming into that with low functioning anxiety, depression, relational problems with your spouse, partner, family member, whatever, work problems. I can't imagine going into a diagnosis already having these problems at a very high level and then getting I can't imagine
Yeah.
how devastating that would be, because those are the kinds of people that really have a difficult time and really need assistance pulling out of that. And so when people DM me and be like, oh, my brother's terrified. Like, we're not meeting, the oncologist until next week, which happens all the time to me. Find a therapist. In the
Yeah.
meantime, find a therapist immediately. Because when I was diagnosed, my oncologist, God bless him, sent me to the, hospital social worker, right? I went and met with her, and she just shuffled some pamphlets my way. She said, well, like, they do a meeting here this day. And it was very cold. Cool. I never went back to her
Okay.
because I was just like,
Hmm.
she just shuffled some pamphlets my way and said, well, if you have any questions, let me know. Like, well, all right. Find a therapist is my
Yeah.
number one answer,
Yeah.
and do it immediately.
So, where are you with death and dying, coming to the end of your life? I know it's not now, and I know you're hoping that you're going to get several more years and maybe a lot more years. But
Yeah.
at some point, there's not going to be more treatment, and things are going to progress. How does that feel?
I think I'm okay with going. If I know that there's going to come a point where I'm not living, I'm surviving.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just a stark difference for me. There are already some days that I feel like I'm kind of surviving. Um, Sometimes it's because of just a mental space that I'm in. Sometimes it's like very valid,
Yeah.
physical. Like I'm just feel like I just been hit by a Mack truck. I mean,
Sure.
that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
When you have this kind of thing going on. So those are the days that I just feel like I'm just surviving, like because I'm like I can't get out of bed, or I just can't be functional. Like I don't even want to get on social media. I don't want to answer messages. I don't want to do anything. And those are the days that I feel like I'm surviving. So, I know that there's going to come a day when there are going to be more, feel like surviving days than feel like living days.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kind of embraced it. Like I've done things that I never thought that I would do
Yeah.
in the last 2 or 3 years. I never thought that I would be doing. And I'm so happy to have done them. And I really, really am grateful for the opportunities that I've been given to do those things.
Yeah.
I'm good. Like if it's my time soon, I'm good. Like I don't have anything left to prove. I know that I'll never go back to my career. Like I know that the future is, what it is. Um, I'm good. I'm in a great space. Like if that happens, in the next 6 months, I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know.
When we talked before, you mentioned your funeral, or is that what you called it? Your living funeral?
Yeah, the celebration of life. Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened in early April. All of the close people in my life got together and put this on, and it was absolutely the most magical night ever. Imagine having all of the people that you love in one room just for a night. How overwhelmingly delicious is that?
Yeah, of
It
course.
was amazing. And there was no specific tone. There were tears and laughs and uh, memories and like people I hadn't seen in my gosh, 25 years showed up. There were well over 100 people there.
Yeah.
People that follow me on TikTok from Texas flew in. All over the place came in. What an insanely beautiful thing to do or to have someone do for you. Uh, that when you hear people get up and take to the microphone and basically do a eulogy
Hmm.
and talk about how they met you and what kind of a beautiful impact you've had on their life. What an amazing thing to be able to receive from the people that you love.
Yeah.
Um, I cannot recommend it enough. And I know it's like a trending thing slowly, but I can't recommend it enough.
I mean, who cares if it's trending or not trending? The idea of everybody coming together to celebrate somebody and talk about the impact that they've had on the lives of all these people when they can't even hear it anymore
Right?
is a little sad. I mean, I get why we do it. And the idea that you could actually do that while the person's still alive and let them know the
Oh my
impact that they've
gosh.
had. What a beautiful thing. When you were talking about that, I've seen it a couple times, but man, just so beautiful.
It's the most amazing thing. Like I cannot even hardly bring words to it. I was so overwhelmed with emotion, and it wasn't sad. It wasn't like, despair. It was like
Profound.
joy, like
Yeah.
profoundly just happy emotions. And wow, and we made a whole weekend of it because we did like a brunch the next day and whatever. But wow, overwhelmingly, what a weekend that was.
Yeah. Amazing.
10 out of 10.
Lonnie recommended. Um, all right. End of life. Over and out. Afterlife. What do you think?
um, that's a great question. I struggle with that.
Yeah, me too.
And the reason that I struggle with it, I was raised a Baptist child, and I actually was going to be a preacher.
I can totally see that. I can
Yeah.
totally see it.
Some things happened that like steered me away from the church. And these days, after being in the position that I'm in, and I know a lot of, oh my gosh, I know so many now people that are, diagnosed with cancer, dying of cancer, or other just terminal illnesses. Um, I really have a hard time squaring that up. I really have a hard time squaring that up where, um, you know, there's a heaven that's ruled by, a God that, um, lets these kind of things happen to people. And one of the most heartbreaking things for me over the last couple of years has been, oh God, I'm getting emotional about it now, but getting to know people in the cancer community and losing them
Mm-hmm.
and hearing some of them talk about things like, you know, God's not going to give me a battle that I can't handle,
Mm.
but he did.
Yeah.
Or it happened. I don't know if he did. It happened. I'm just not there. Like I have a hard time squaring a lot of that up. Um, yeah. And listen, I might not get it figured out in time. I don't know. And that's fine. I am
Something tells me you won't have it figured out until the end.
maybe I'm slowly trying to figure it out, but I guess for now I'm really just kind of ambivalent on it. Like I just don't. It's just yeah. It's just I don't
It
know.
doesn't. It doesn't worry you one way or the other, though.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I always say, like, I have my hopes, but depends on the day what I actually believe.
Right.
I really, I mean, I have no idea.
And that's kind of it for me as well. Like there are days that, I lost a friend a couple weeks ago and my gosh, she was just the most amazing human being. Um, he had breast cancer, actually, which is very rare for men,
Yeah, it is rare.
but he had it. And he passed and I was just so angry that day. And, um, those are the days
Yeah.
that I just like, you just kind of shake your fist at the universe. Like how, why? Because, again, I've talked to my therapist about this 1,000 times. But I've talked about like, why him? Like, so that's when you want to just shake your fist at the universe or whatever you believe in,
Yeah.
and say why? Like, why is this happening?
Why is it happening?
Right?
Yeah.
And there's never any really answers, but
Nope.
those are the days that I have my doubts
Yeah.
and that I can't square it up.
Yeah. Well, it is hard to square for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no justice when it comes to cancer.
true.
Yeah. All right. Last question. How do you want to be remembered?
Whew. Um, I'll tell you, a few years ago, at my dad's funeral, I talked to several people that came up to me and told me basically the same thing in a few very different variations. And that was that my father always made people feel like they were somebody important, somebody worthy. And
Yeah. What a beautiful compliment.
yeah, it was amazing
Huh.
to hear. And I had kind of already known that because he made me feel that way
Right. Right.
throughout my adult life. But um, gosh, what a thing to hear from other people.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, he did this for me. And I just felt like the most amazing
Hmm.
person or whatever. And I just remember like, oh my gosh. And I feel like I was a little bit that way to begin with. But like after that, it just became really intentional for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
I want to be that guy, right? Not because I, need to be remembered for that, but I kind of do want to be remembered for that because I'm very intentional with it now.
Right. Right. That's who you
Before I
want to
wasn't
be.
very intentional. Yeah, but now I'm intentional. I'm like, I want to make sure that people feel like there's somebody, that they don't feel alone, that they
Mm.
don't feel, isolated. Like they can, like they don't feel like they're in a room full of crowded people and they're not even seen.
Yeah.
I want to be remembered for that,
Mm.
I think, because it really leads back to my initial diagnosis of, my God, I felt so alone.
Yeah.
I felt so barren and alone.
Hmm.
And I don't want anybody to feel that way. It's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's horrible.
Oh,
So,
wow.
there you go.
Oh, man. Thank you so much. I will say, we've only talked a couple times, but I immediately liked you, and I immediately felt like you were here with me. You know what I mean? When
I
when I'm
do.
talking to people, often, especially over Zoom or something like this, it can feel distant and like
Forced.
we're not paying attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I felt like you were there with me, and I really appreciate that. And yeah, I appreciate your gift of time. Thank you so much for spending it with us. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
thank you for the work that you do.
Oh yeah, of course.
Don't let anybody ever tell you that it's not. What you do is amazing.
Thank you. I
It's
appreciate
really
it.
good.
It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us your TikTok handle so that people can find you if they want to.
Oh, yeah. It's well, you can just like search my name.
Yeah,
Lonnie Van Horn.
Lonnie Van Horn.
Yeah.
And we'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, Lonnie.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks to Lonnie for sharing your story with us. Although this interview was virtual, it really did feel like we were just sitting there, hanging out, sharing a bottle of wine. There's something about Lonnie's affect that's charming and disarming in a really special way. There's a lot to unpack from this interview, and I'll say more about that in next week's reflection. Thanks as always to the producer, Chris Rock, and special thanks to the Iliff School of Theology for partnering with us. Until next week, I want to challenge all of us to live up to Lonnie's desire to make people feel like they are somebody, like they're not alone. I hope we can all be intentional about making people feel seen this week. This is Dying to Tell You.